going on, sports world? Sean Mack from Sports Fans Only, SFO. And it's that time of the year, it's summer. Hope everyone's enjoying. But one thing you do run into is nothing but baseball. No other sports is being played, so we're trying to create a little content. Well, I'm always trying to create a little content. So what I came up with today is the top 10 conspiracies in sports. Hope everybody enjoy your summer. Say bye, Pip. Bye. This is the top 10 conspiracies that drive sports fans nuts and why they are probably bunk. During the San Antonio Spurs win over the Miami Heat in Game 1 of the 2014 NBA Finals, the air condition at the AT&T Center stopped working, eventually causing LeBron James to cramp and have to be carried off the court. After the game, it didn't take long for sports fans to speculate that the malfunction was intentional to give the Spurs a bigger home court advantage. That was just one example in a long history of conspiracy theories that many sports fans want to believe. With that being said, let's get down to the countdown. Number 1. Michael Jordan's first retirement was a secret suspension for gambling. Let's take a look and see why some fans think it's true. Just months before Michael Jordan announced his first retirement in 1993 and eventually pursued a career in baseball, the NBA had launched an investigation into Jordan's gambling habits. Also, Jordan said during his retirement press conference that he might come back to the NBA if Stern, David Stern that is, let me back into the league, unquote. Now let's see why this is probably bunk. The question conspiracy theorists struggle to answer is why would the NBA cover up Jordan's gambling misdeeds and kick the best and most popular asset out of the league for 2 years? The more likely scenario is that Jordan, one of the world's fierce competitors, just no longer felt challenged by basketball and needed something else to do. Okay, time for my breakdown. How do I feel about this issue? I'm gonna have to say this is true. You know, they have reports. Michael Franchise, the former mob boss, Michael Franchise, said that he had secondhand knowledge that that's exactly what happened. That Jordan, you know, the issues with his father happened, and David Stern kicked him out more of a punishment, and not really a punishment, more to like save the NBA, because if that information had gotten out, that could have crushed Jordan's career and it could have possibly brought down the NBA, being that Magic and Bird had just brought it up from the 80s to the 90s and passed it to Jordan. It would have brought it back into the 60s and 70s, so I'm going to have to say this one is true. Number 2. The NBA rigged the 1985 NBA draft for the New York Knicks to get Patrick Ewing. Let's see why some fans think it's true. Patrick Ewing was one of the best prospects in years, and the league's marquee franchise needed a star. Also, the person placing the envelope in the bin seemed to throw one against the side, and the one David Stern pulls out with the Knicks logo inside appears to have a bent corner. A second theory says that the Knicks envelope was frozen, which would make it easier for Stern to identify. Now let's see why some people think it's bunk. If the NBA wanted to bend a corner of an envelope as a sign to Stern, it would be easier to do so before bringing them out. They were stacked, and nobody would have noticed a bent corner. It would also eliminate the risk that throwing it against the side would not create a bend. As for the frozen envelope theory, there is no evidence to support this. Alright, I'll make this one simple and swift, easy peasy. 95% of NBA fans that know about this scenario actually believe it. The Knicks needed a marquee player. They hadn't had one at that point since I don't know, that was Bill Bradley and Reed and Frazier team with Phil Jackson on it coming off the bench. So they definitely needed that franchise to elevate, because you had the Bulls that was coming along then. So, you know, you had a lot of things that was working. Stern definitely did set that up. Get in that comment section. Let me know if you believe Stern and the NBA actually set that up. This one, to me, without a doubt, 100%. Number 3. Cal Ripken Jr.'s record streak of games played was saved by an intentional power outage. Let's see why some baseball fans believe it's true. In 1997, 2 years after breaking Lou Gehrig's record for consecutive games played, a game between the Orioles and Mariners was postponed because of an electrical failure that affected the lights at Camden Yard. This led to a wild rumor that the team intentionally caused the failure to save Cal Ripken's streak when they learned Cal Ripken would not be able to play because he got into a fight with Kevin Costner. Yes, he got into a fight with Kevin Costner. That's hilarious. Now let's see why people think it's bunk. News reports at the time showed that Cal Ripken was at the stadium and sitting in the dugout prior to the power outage. That's pretty much it. So I'm gonna have to go with, this is pretty simple. He was in the dugout. He could have got hurt, right? Even if he was hurt, he could have came out there. It's not consecutive games played within the game. He could have came into the game and left after the second or first inning, and he still would have got the count for that game being played, right? So being that he was in the park and he was sitting right there in the dugout, and they have cameras of him in the dugout, not sure why people pretty much made this a conspiracy. Moving on. Number 4. The NBA rigged Game 6 of the 2002 Western Conference Finals to save the Los Angeles Lakers season. Let's take a look, see why they think it's true. The Lakers trailed the Sacramento Kings 3-2 in the series and were tied heading into the fourth quarter of Game 6. The Lakers shot 27 free throws in the fourth quarter and scored 16 of their last 18 points at the free throw line to win by 4 points. The Lakers would go on to win that series and the NBA championship. Years later, former NBA referee Tim Donaghy, who resigned and later admitted to gambling on NBA games, suggested that the conspiracy was real, noting that he had heard a game had been fixed that matched the description of the NBA game. Okay, let's see why people think this is bunk. Donaghy did not work the game in question, and his story is secondhand knowledge at best. More likely, it was just a wild guess in an attempt to add legitimacy to his claim that he was not the only ref rigging games. Okay, I'm going to say this is 100% true. If you check out the interview we did with controversial author Brian Toohey on our channel SFO on YouTube right here, just scroll down and find it. He will tell you that it was fake. He has many arguments about why a lot of these games are fake. He also have a little bit of proof statistically wise. So you put that together. You put together that the Lakers actually the year before in these games, Donaghy did work against the Portland Trail Blazers. When he came back on the Trail Blazers, that was down late in the fourth quarter. I think they were down 15 points, and they came back with a lot of free throws. And Portland Trail Blazers with the Scottie Pippen team didn't get any. So I'm going to say 100% true. I think they just drew a lot of deflection on Tim Donaghy to make it seem like he was the only one. But no way one referee could be rigging games in that huge conglomerate of an NBA. No way they expect us to believe that shit. But they try to pull a wool over our eyes. But nah, this is true. Moving on. Number 5. In 1995, the New Zealand national rugby team was poisoned prior to the World Cup final. Let's see why people think it's true. In front of their fans, South Africa defeated the heavily favored New Zealand squad in the finals of the 1995 World Cup. Before the match, many members of the New Zealand team came down with food poisoning. After the game, their coach blamed a mysterious waitress named Susie. Alright, let's see why people think it's bunk. One of the team's managers is on record saying Susie was not a real person. Instead, the day before the match and after a big night out that left members of the team feeling not too fit, the team drank what they call doggy milk. Okay, they drank doggy milk. Okay, first they said that it was a woman named Susie that was a waitress, which brought me back to, excuse me, it brought me back to Michael Jordan. The flu game was actually food poisoning in Utah brought by a pizza guy. So when they said Susie, I'm like, okay, they might be on to something. But later they say it really wasn't no Susie, and they drank something called dog milk. So I'm going to have to go with them and say this one is false. Conspiracy is false. They said it was no Susie. They got hurt that night, got bent, went out, tried to recover by drinking something called doggy milk. Moving on. Number 6. The NFL destroyed evidence from Spygate to hide what the New England Patriots were doing. Let's see why people think this is true. Because it is. After Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots were caught spying on the New York Jets during the game, the team gave the league tapes which were later destroyed. A Boston Herald reporter said the Patriots secretly taped the St. Louis Rams walkthrough before the 2001 Super Bowl. Many fans believe the tapes were destroyed by the league, showed the Patriots cheated to win their first Lombardi trophy. Okay, let's see why people think it's bunk. Because it's a cover-up. The tapes handed over to the NFL were from the 2000-2002 season, but reportedly did not include anything from the Rams walkthrough. The Herald later retracted their report, and the NFL said they investigated and found no evidence. Also, during a Senate investigation, a Patriot staffer told Senator Arlen Specter that several videographers were preparing for the game when the Rams started their walkthrough. They were in Patriot gear and lingered around to watch the practice. and relay what they learned to Bill Belichick, but did not videotape anything. As for destroying the tapes, it is more likely, since one tape had already been leaked, that Goodell did not want any other tapes going public. Oh, I agree 100% with this. Shame on Goodell. One thing about transparency is this: if he would have just shown what they did have, it would be put to bed. By him saying they didn't have anything and didn't show the public anything, the public say, hey, what are you hiding? You're not being transparent. So trust me, something happened there. Goodell did not want it to get out, and the Patriots' first Super Bowl was won by cheating. Let's just say that. Moving on. Number 7. Pete Rose had a secret agreement to be reinstated to baseball after lifetime ban. Let's see why people think it's real. Pete Rose has long acted as though his lifetime ban for gambling on baseball games were never supposed to be a lifetime ban, and that he would eventually be reinstated. However, then Commissioner Bart Giamatti died just 8 days after the suspension was handed down, and many fans believe his promise to Pete Rose died with him. Okay, let's see why people think it's bunk. Giamatti was replaced by his close friend Fay Vincent. If it was the wish of Giamatti to reinstate Rose eventually, it is likely Vincent would have known and would have honored his friend's desire. Okay, I can't go with this one. It's just not a conspiracy I can believe in, because I think Pete Rose got it wrong. I think Giamatti pretty much said, yeah, we'll do lifetime ban. Eventually we'll get you in. And Pete took that as, yeah, they'll eventually get me in here. Yeah. We got a wink deal. No, because like they said, Fay Vincent, who was the next commissioner, that was one of his best friends. He would have just said, okay, I honor what you said. You made a promise to Pete. I'll make sure I get him in there. So Pete is wrong on this one. And I think anyone that think that this one is a true conspiracy, they're barking up the wrong tree. Moving on. Number 8. In 1965, Muhammad Ali knocked out Sonny Liston in a rigged fight with a phantom punch. Okay, let's see why people think this is true. In the first round of their championship rematch, Muhammad Ali knocked Sonny Liston down with a punch that many in attendance did not see, leading to the name Phantom Punch. To add to the confusion, Ali did not immediately retreat to a neutral corner to land the referee's count. Liston staggered to his feet after about 20 seconds and resumed the match. However, the referee then stopped the fight after the official timekeeper signaled that he had counted Liston out. This led many to think the contest was rigged. Okay, let's see why people think it's bunk. When the video is slowed down, it is clear that Liston's head snapped when Ali's glove made contact with his chin. Okay, I'm gonna have to go for this conspiracy, because you know why? Sonny Liston had so many shady ties with the mob, and he was in debt, he was gambling, he was a hood. You know what I mean? He had a lot working against him right then. And everybody there can clearly see. And their reason for saying that it's not is because when you slow down the tape, you can see that his head snapped. Hey, he's a decent actor. A lot of people say that was a rigged fight, and I can't believe it. Muhammad Ali went on to become one of the greatest, if not the greatest boxer of all time. But I have to say, that one against Liston is a little shady to me, so I have to say that is true. Moving on. Number 9. The 2005 NHL draft was rigged so the Pittsburgh Penguins could draft Sidney Crosby to save the troubled franchise. Let's see why people think it's real. Shortly after the Penguins escaped bankruptcy, they were still in trouble as a franchise and threatened to move to Kansas City. The team then won the 2005 NHL draft lottery for the rights to draft the Wonder Kid, Sidney Crosby, and shortly afterwards, an agreement was in place to build a new arena. Okay, let's see why people think it's bunk. The Penguins were one of 4 clubs tied with the best chance of winning the lottery. One of the other teams were the New York Rangers. While Crosby may have saved the Rangers, it was probably in the best interest of the league if he ended up with the Rangers, one of the worst teams in the league at that time. Okay, I have to agree with this one because it harps back to the 80s draft, NBA draft with Stern and Ewing. They needed it. Lemieux was gone, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Lemieux was gone for I think a couple of years at that time, and the Penguins were, like they said, they were in bankruptcy, and they were flailing fast. They were about to move to another state and build a new arena. So why not let Sidney Crosby come in there, be the new face, which he did, won him a Stanley Cup, and the rest goes on. It's the same thing over and over. It's a repeating process with some of these owners and the owners, the players, and then the president of that sport. It goes on. So you know what I do? I'll move on. And finally, number 10, the NBA rigged the NBA draft for the Cleveland Cavaliers after LeBron James signed with the Miami Heat. Let's see why people believe this. Let's see why they think it's true. Fans believe the NBA rigged the NBA lottery to help the Cleveland Cavaliers after LeBron James took his talents to South Beach, and the Cavs received nothing in return. The Cavs won the draft lottery in 2011, and then again in 2013 and 2014, and they picked Kyrie Irving. Okay, let's see why people think this is bunk. The Cavs were not an especially long shot to win the lottery that year. Only the Minnesota Timberwolves had a better chance to win the lottery, and even they had a 75% chance of not winning the lottery. The fact is that the NBA lottery is designed to make it unlikely that the worst team gets the top pick. Hey, call me a sports conspiracy theorist, but I'm gonna have to agree with this one as well. Reason being is that growing up, the Cavs were never really that good. Then LeBron came. He put the spotlight on Cleveland, and they were shining. Then he left for Miami, which was already an established organization, which made the Cavaliers not so good anymore. They were getting a lot of televised games before LeBron left. So what could you do to change that, being that you got the spotlight on the Cavaliers now, and you need to keep that market up? What you do? Rig it up like the 80s with Ewing. Make sure that they get a couple number one picks a few years in a row, knowing that they will get good quality out of the NCAA basketball. You will get some good talent if you got the first to third pick 3 years in a row. So I'm definitely going to have to go with this one. They didn't know it would be Kyrie, but they knew it would be somebody that can hold it down. And just maybe, they had a little wink from LeBron that I'm not going to stay here long, and I might take those talents back to Cleveland. All right, I hope everyone enjoyed that little list. That was fun. I definitely had fun. I hope you enjoyed. That was the top 10 conspiracy theories that drive sports fans nuts and why they are probably bunk. I've been Sean Mack, and this is Sports Fans Only. Peace.